Hey, thank you for making the purchase, and in this video I will give you a detailed walkthrough of this product. This is a time tracking and utilization tracker which is mainly meant for freelancers. But if you want to use it in your day-to-day job, or if you want to use it in your small business, it will also make sense. So you are watching this video by clicking this link, and I would suggest that you watch this video at least once so that you can use this product the way it's intended, so that you can get the most out of it. So to start, you will click this button, and this will take you to the main data entry sheet, which is called the daily log. So of course I will go through all these sheets one by one, and then I will explain them in detail as well. So this is the daily log, in which you enter your tasks pertaining to various clients and various projects. The next is the weekly view. Now this is the view for which you are paying. I have not seen any product on Etsy or anywhere which uses Excel to create a view like this, and of course this is the main part of this product. And once I come back to this sheet, then I will explain it in detail. This is the client profitability sheet. So there are two things happening here. You are entering details of your clients, and then it is giving you some very nice metrics relating to specific clients. The next is the project profitability one. Here it gives you details on each and every project and how it is performing. And the last is the settings page, or the configuration page, on which you will enter your preferences once, and then everything in this product is going to update automatically. Now I will start working on these one by one. So let's start with the configuration sheet. So here you are presented with 6 options from which you are supposed to make your selection, and I will go through these one by one. First is the weekly hours target. So I have given explanation of each of these as well. So it says enter hours that you would like to work in a week. So let's say that you want a heavy week, and in which you want to work 8 hours per day. Now of course this is not marked as a working week because you are a freelancer, so I'm assuming that if you are working for 8 hours every day, that is going to be for 7 days. That is why I have written here 56. Let's say you want to work for 40 hours in the whole week. You will type in 40 here, and everything will get automatically updated, and so on and so forth. If you want to work only 20 hours, you can do that. If you want to work 70 hours, if you feel like doing that, you can do that as well. I will change it to 56, and then I will proceed. The next is the billable rate target. So what happens is that, let's assume that you are working 8 hours every day and the total is 56. Let's change it to 100, just so that it is easy to understand. So let's say your target is that you want to work for 100 hours in a week. It is just an example. Obviously this is going to be rather excessive, but let's assume that you have a plan to work for 100 hours in a week. So the billable rate target is that out of those 100 hours, 75% means that you would like to charge your clients for at least 75 hours out of those 100 hours. So this is the target that you are trying to achieve, because when you are working as a freelancer, you are working for your main tasks for which you are charging the client, but you are also doing admin work. You are also trying to develop your business. You are talking to clients and so on and so forth. And for those activities, you are not able to bill your clients. So 75% would mean that, let's say out of these 56 hours, you would like to bill 75% of the amount to your clients so that you can make money. The next is the tracking year. So this is the year for which the tracking is required. So I showed you that heat map, that very nice weekly view. So for that weekly view to show a specific year, you will write that year here. And that doesn't mean that you can enter data in this product for only 1 year. You can enter data for multiple years, but that view will only show 1 year at a time. And of course you can change it at any point if you like. Let's say you have been working since 2024. So if you want to see the working your data from 2024, you will type in 2024. If you want to see for 25, you will type in 25. And if you want to see for the current year, you will type in for 2026, and so on and so forth. In the future, it can be 2027, so on and so forth. And now these two are the tier thresholds for your clients. So it is related to this. So let's say if you are able to charge a client for 85% of the hours that you have worked or more, then that client will be marked as a high client, so a desirable client. If it is below 85 but above 65%, that is going to be medium tier. And every client that is coming below 65% will be marked as low. Again, this is as you can see can be customized. So what you will do is that if you want to change the threshold to, let's say, 95, you can do that. If you want to change it to, let's say, 75, you can do that as well. So I'm just going to do that. And similarly for the medium tier threshold, you can do similarly for that as well. So let's say the higher tier is 85%, and for medium you want to change it to 75. Let's say you want to match it with this target for some reason, you can do that as well. So again, you can customize it as per your desire. The last is the burn alert threshold. So let me show you it from the project profitability sheet. So what is happening is that for a specific project, and of course I'm going to explain this in detail in a bit. So let's say for a specific project, you know that it will take 80 hours to complete the whole project, and this is the actual completion, and this is the burn rate. So you have logged 11 hours already, and if you assume that you have logged 11 hours, so 11 by 80 is 14%. So this should have been 14%. So the difference between these two is referred here as a burn alert threshold. So if the difference goes beyond this point, so percentage points, then that will give you an alert that this is getting out of hand, that you are going to have problems completing this project. So 40 points is obviously very generous. If you want to keep it tighter, you can turn it into 20 or 10 or whatever suits you better. So this is a very nice visual indication for each and every one of your projects, so that you have an idea that you will able to complete this project in the planned hours that you planned initially. Otherwise you won't be able to charge your client accordingly. So hopefully that makes sense. So now I will I'm pretty sure it makes sense, but still, if you have any issues, you can send me a message. So we will start. Once this configuration is done, then you are supposed to go to the client profitability sheet first. Here you will enter your client's details. Now as you can see, the light brown columns are formula driven, and the dark brown ones are the ones where entry is required. So all of these columns will get populated automatically. You are only supposed to enter data in these three columns only. So here you will write the name of the client, the rate that you have quoted them, for which you will bill them. So let's say this quoted rate is $15 per hour. So for how many hours you work, you will charge that client accordingly. Then there is the status of your client. It can be active, it can be inactive, and it can be on hold as per your requirements. So of course you will do this manually as well. So everything else is coming from the daily log. It will get populated automatically. So first is the client ID. It will get populated automatically. The total hours, for these are the number of hours for which you have worked with the client, out of which these are the billable hours, these are the non-billable hours, this is the billable percentage. So this simply means that out of 16 hours, because you have billed only 12 hours, so that is 75%. So that is your billable percentage. Then this is the revenue that you have generated against this client, and this is the effective rate. So you have to see this against the quoted rate here. So you are charging the client for $15 per hour, but in effect you are getting $11.25 for every hour, because there are non-billable hours here as well. So this is a very nice indication in which you can see that what is your actual rate or the effective rate with which you are charging the client, and this is the ratio. this is supposed to be 100%. So if the effective rate and the quoted rate is equal in these cases, then it will show you the rate ratio as 100%. This is what you are trying to target, and anything below this is not desirable. But of course, when you will have multiple clients, then you can have a very nice idea that what is happening. And according to this, these clients will be ranked. So this is from number 1 ranked, this is number 2 ranked, this is number 3 ranked. So these are ranked based on the effective rate. So this is the highest effective rate, this is the second highest, and this is the lowest effective rate. So this is how this ranking is calculated automatically. The tier, I have already explained it. So these tiers are calculated based on these 2 options that you have entered, and again these can be customized, and this table will get updated automatically. That is how it is made. So this is this tier is medium because this is below 85. These 2 are above 85. I'm talking about these ratios. So that is why it is showing you high. And then that effective rate, this 11.25, because this is the most important part of this table. This is also presented here in a visual manner. So it rounds it off. 11.25 is shown as 11, this is 12, this is 7.5 is shown as 8 hours. It is the same value. So in this view, you can get you can first of all enter your clients. Whenever you acquire a new client, you will enter their data here, and of course you will do that by removing these 3 entries first, because these are dummy entries obviously, and then you can of course enter the data for your clients. The next is the project profitability tab. So if you go there, this is where you are supposed to enter your projects. Whenever you get a new project from a client, you will enter it here, and again for these columns you are supposed to enter the data, and everything else will get calculated automatically. So first is the project ID, then you have the client name, which you will select from the drop down. This is coming from the client profitability tab. So right now we have client 123, so client 123 is available in the drop down. When you will enter the actual names of your clients, though, those will become available here automatically. Here you will write the name of your project, the status of the project, again it is active, it is completed, or is it on hold, the hours that you have budgeted. So you, as per your initial planning, you know that brand design for client 1 will take 80 hours to complete, and this is the actual percentage done. Excuse me. So here you will manually enter how much of this work is done. If you have completed half of the work, you will type in 50. If it is 10%, then you will enter 10%, and so on and so forth. These are again calculated automatically. So the hours logged against this project, the hours remaining. So if 11 are logged, then 69 are remaining, and the total are 80, as you can see here. And then the burn percentage, so this is again calculated by 11 by 80, so this much is done. And then the revenue against this project, and the budget gap. So the budget gap again is given the difference between the burn percentage and the done percentage. Ideally this should be 0. So if 11 days out of 80 are passed, then ideally you would have had been done with the 14% of the project should have been completed at this point. So if I type in 14, you will see that the budget gap goes to 0, and the difference, these points will show a specific flag. So the tick mark means that you are good. This is a concern, so you have to look at these projects which show this sign, and these are the high warning signs where this burn alert threshold of 40 points, and of course you can modify it. You can turn it to change it to 20 or 30, whatever. So that will determine if it flags it, and then you are supposed to maybe talk to the client, maybe look at the project, maybe it is feasible, because you are spending so much time on it and you are not getting enough money. So this is again a very nice visual indication in which you can see that how your projects are performing individually. Now we will go to the daily log. Here you are supposed to enter the data on a regular basis. So first is the task ID, again automatically calculated. Here you will enter the date on which you have done a specific task. Then you will select the client from the drop down, you will select the project from the drop down, you will type in the task that you did. Let's say this is a brand redesign project and you did logo concepts. Then you have marked the category. So we have billable, non-billable, admin, business development, and if you are doing a task that does not come in these 4, then you will mark that as miscellaneous. So only billable tasks will generate revenue. If I change this category to, let's say, non-billable, you see that revenue, which was 105, converted to 0. I'm going to undo that. So here, of course, only billable tasks will generate revenue, because that is the definition. And then you will write the number of hours that you have worked on that specific task. So it can be 7, it can be, let's say, 2.5 hours, so on and so forth. And then the rate per hour is coming from the client's sheet. From here it comes automatically, and of course the revenue is also calculated automatically. Here you have a few KPI cards. So this tells you the total number of tasks, which are 8, total hours that you have worked, which is 39, the total revenue that you have generated, which is 389. And if you want to filter something out in this table, I have provided slicers here as well. So if you want to see only the billable tasks, you will click this, and it will show you only the tasks for which you were able to bill. And then you can reset the filter from here. If you want to see only the non-billable tasks, you can click this one. And of course, no revenue is generated for non-billable tasks. And if you want to filter for a specific client, you can use these slicers. And if you want to filter for a specific project, you can use these slicers. Let's say you want to see the tasks only for client 3. You will click client 3, and then you will see the tasks that you did for client 3 only. And of course, you can multi-select. If you want to see the tasks for client 2 and 3, then you will click client 2, hold down the control key, and then click client 3 as well. So in that way you can see tasks for both of these clients, like here. So you can see tasks for client 2 and tasks for client 3 as well. So this is a overall walkthrough of these all tables. And now the main view for which you are paying. Again, like I mentioned, I am very happy with this, how it came about, and it is going to give you a very nice view. So let me explain you this one by one. So you are not supposed to change anything here. Everything gets updated automatically. The only thing that you can change is that you can select a week here from the drop down. That is the only thing that you are supposed to do, and it will give you all the details. So you will select a specific week. Let's say I select week 16 or week 17. So you will see that the week starts from this date and ends on this date. It will show you the total hours that you have worked for that week. So you have worked for 23 hours in this example, and the target is 56 hours. This target is again coming from the configuration sheet. If you change it from 56, let's say, to 40, and if I go back to the weekly view, you will see that the target is updated. I'll go back to the configuration sheet again, type in 56, and then go back to the weekly view, and again it's updated. Now, out of these 23 hours, how many were billable hours and how many were non-billable hours? In this week there are no billable hours, so let me change it to week 16. Let's say we have something here, right? So in week 16, which is starting from 13th April and ends on 19th April, you have worked for 16 hours, and the target was 56 hours. And out of those 16 hours, 12 were billable and 4 were non-billable, and you have generated a revenue of $180. This utilization percentage, which is coming as 75 for this week, and this is the target indication here. So if I go back to the configuration, this is the billable rate target that I have entered 75. So for this week, because we have achieved exactly 75%, so it shows that there is no change. If I change it to week 17, let's say, so you can see that because the utilization is 100%, so the total hours that you have worked, all of those hours were billable. That is why utilization is 100%, and it shows an up arrow. I will go to week 16. So this is the total number of hours, billable hours, non-billable hours, and the revenue earned. Now this grid is very interesting. So these are the months on top. So from Jan till December, this is the Jan of the next year. And these are the number of weeks. So from week 1 to week 53. Normally it's supposed to be week 52, but sometimes because days overlap, so I have added one more. And all of these small boxes are the days. So let's say if I go to week 16, so this is 13th April, as you can see, 13th till 19th April. So this is 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and then we move on to the next week. And this starts from Monday. So from Monday till Sunday, the whole year is laid out here, and you can see the whole year in one view. So here, these boxes, their color is represented here. So the lightest brown color says that it says 0 hours, like these boxes, then it goes to 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days, and then any box that is the let's say the darkest shade of brown, so that is saying that you have worked for that specific day for more than 8 hours. And let me change it to another week so that you can get a good idea. So you will see that the today will also be marked here every time you open this sheet. So let's say for today, if I go to week 17, it's 25th, so let's say week 17, and 25th April is highlighted as today as well. Let me change that so that you can get a much better idea here. So this today will be highlighted automatically every time. I'm going to select week 16 again. So the next thing is that every time I select a week, that week gets highlighted. I'm pretty sure you have noticed it, but in case you haven't, so if I change it, let's say to week 7, it is going to highlight week 7. If I highlight, let's say week 12, it is going to highlight week 12. If I highlight, let's say week 23, it is going to highlight week 23. So at any point in time, you can get a very nice view of a specific week. So I'm going to change it to week 16 and as you can see that it has highlighted week 16. And every time you select a specific week, this gives you the details for that week. So the week started from 13th April and ended at 19th April. So it starts from 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. The hours that you worked on that specific day. So this is 8 hours. So because the target is 56 hours in a week, so the target for a day is going to be whatever this number is divided by 7. So if you write 40, it is going to divide it by that, and that number is showing in these lines or these graphs. So if I worked for 8 hours or more, then I worked 100%. If it is less than 8 hours, then it is it is calculated as per the target. Below this, you see the actual tasks. So it tells you the name of the client and the task. So on 13th April, in this example, you worked for 8 hours and you worked for the client one's logo concepts tasks and for the client's one invoicing. And on 14th April, you worked for 3 hours, and in those 3 hours, you were on a call with client one. And on 15th April, you worked for 5 hours and you worked for client one, and the task was video editing. So in a single view, and let me show you that this is dynamic. So it is starting from 13th April and ending on 19th. So if I change it to week 17, it will update automatically and it will update all the tasks and so on and so forth. So again, a very nice view which gives you your time tracking, your utilization in the best possible manner. So again, this is basically the total product. So you enter your tasks on a daily basis here. The weekly view gets updated. You see your utilization in one view. It gives you the picture of the whole year, and it is very easy to read, very visually pleasing, and it will give you the exact information so that you can utilize your time in the best possible manner. Whenever you have a new client, you enter their details here. Whenever you have a project, new projects, you enter their details here. And of course, anytime you want to see your client's profitability, you can see it from this table. Anytime you want to see your project's profitability, you can see it from here. And configuration, of course, you're supposed to do this once. That is the ideal scenario, but of course you can change it if you want at any time. Once again, thank you for the purchase, and have a good day.